8 years old, I stare down at the enemy sitting on my dinner plate. Broccoli. Its bitter, repulsive aroma makes me gag, and so I pick at it with my fork. Across the table, my mom reprimands me. Crista, finish your food. There are poor people in the Philippines who don't even have any food. And so I tell her, well, why don't we just send them ours? You see, the truth is, we all take things for granted. But exactly how good are we at appreciating the resources we have? And do we even realize just how lucky we are? Fast forward to now. I'm 15 years old. And I get to experience what my mom was talking about. Poverty. My family of 4, enjoying dinner at the table, turns into a family of 3. I watch my life go by. Everything I once had at my fingertips, gone. My room becomes empty. We are moving. We're so poor that we can only afford to rent a single room from a family. I now live with a single parent who barely makes enough money to meet our needs. So the shift in my life takes a huge toll on me. I put on this facade of this bubbly, charismatic girl, but on the inside I am full of self-pity and anxiety. I might as well just be at school because I won't be able to afford college. I won't do all the things that my friends do because I don't have the money. The cycle of poverty is literally just going to stick with me forever. How will I be successful if I literally have nothing? Now, what if my talk ended there? You see, we often think that just because of our circumstances, we can't achieve our goals. But that's just stress and anxiety blinding us from actually seeing the advantages we have. The reason I'm up here today is because I didn't let that situation stop me from my full potential. The key is to look at the things you take for granted, everyday things you don't mind at all, as a resource. You see, with that mindset, I'm so caught up in what I don't have that I can't see what I do have. What I see are financial deficiencies, unhappiness, dejection, but I can't realize that I have family and friends, a roof over my head, and that I live in a country with ample opportunities. Here, poverty is not a hindrance to success. You see, school is one of the many things I take for granted, but again, with that mindset, I don't realize that it's actually my biggest resource towards success. Education is the push that helps one climb up the socioeconomic ladder. Public education, working hard, and excelling in school are my steps on the staircase towards getting a career and in turn helping out my family. And so, actually being in that situation helps me become the person who I am today and helps me realize one of my biggest goals. And now that my life has opted to come full circle, I've decided to step back into poverty. I'd like everyone to close their eyes for a minute. Close your eyes. Now, imagine yourself on an island. Now, you're not on the beach chilling. You're in a humid, overpopulated country with temperatures reaching as high as 90 degrees daily. You're in the Philippines. Hey, your eyes sting from smoke being burned from a factory nearby. Sweat trickles all over you from working in the humidity. Piles of junk poke your feet through the very thin flip-flops that serve as your only shoes. Finally, after digging through trash piles for a couple of hours, you found your only meal for the day. And it's a box of chewed up, rotten, leftover chicken from a restaurant. Now please open your eyes. This is the sad, everyday reality that many people face in the Philippines and other places living in poverty. Now, looking at this picture, society often stereotypes people like them as maybe uneducated, dirty, good for nothing, but what if I told you that they are one of the most resilient people in today's society? A couple years ago, this picture went viral of a young boy in Cebu studying on the street. He is kneeling on the cold pavement to do his homework, and his desk, well, it's a flimsy, makeshift wooden stool. Heck, the only light source he has is the pale, insubstantial light coming from a nearby McDonald's. He has an extreme lack of the proper materials needed to study, yet he chooses to seek out what little he has to his advantage. Despite his lack of resources, he focuses on reaching his goal. No, they're not swimming. As a matter of fact, this is their commute to school. This is in a village in Rizal province where the water can often reach dangerous levels. Even so, these boys risk their lives on the daily just to get an education. Now, for us, we often give up on seeking out a resource just because we think it's too inconvenient. But to these diligent students, they go through hell and high water, literally, just to reach the stepping stone towards their dreams. Oops. More than 3 million people around the world make less than $2.50 a day. That's almost half the world's population. When we think of $2.50, we probably think of buying an order of fries In-N-Out or a mini frap at Starbucks. But to many people living below the poverty line, $2.50 is all that goes to education, schooling. I already said that. Clothes, your home. So, how does that make you feel about the resources that you have? See, those diligent students in the Philippines didn't stop at their drastic circumstances. Just, they took control of life's wheel and drove their future. So why do many of us give up on just tiny little roadblocks? We often discourage ourselves from moving forward through life because our situation can't call for it. But we don't realize that we are so lucky. So, I have a few things to say for you. Focus on your dreams, the upsides of life, what you have, not what you don't. If we think of all the obstacles that we had to overcome to get to the point that we are at today, those little things that ruin our day just won't be too worthy to complain of anymore. So, I leave you with a few questions. Are you allowing your ambitions to become a reality? What do you take for granted? Rather, what are your resources? Thank you.